The only region that had this in some of their top picks at all was China with 22 games, and it had a subpar 50% win rate. Apart from that, this hero has been heavily neglected until you look at pre-TI pub stats, where it is the most played hero at the highest level in people's pubs around the world. So in some ways, we should have kind of sensed this. Like looking at the data as well, by the way, other heroes that were picked a lot in those pubs. Shaker, no surprise there. We've seen loads of teams try to make that work. Tusk, of course, has been an effective solution. Silencer has been a hit and miss. Nature's Prophet, a heavy amount of games have not actually picked that much. Ember Spirit is the surprise to me. Not that many Ember Spirit games, considering that it was the 4th or 5th most picked in pub games. I think the surprising one to me on top of that, though, is that Mirana was incredibly popular. But I don't think we've seen any Mirana games whatsoever.
We haven't ourselves. Yeah, I'd be curious. Now that you mention that, I'm curious to check it real quickly. 4 times a 3-1 record, so has been seen again 4 times.
Okay.
Not a lot in comparison to all the heroes. A top 50 hero, but again, only means so much. Yeah, interesting point there. But how about Pango though to go with the Shadow Fiend and perhaps it also keeps you guessing now as who's going to be where. I mean, Shadow Fiend safe lane is something we have seen plenty as well. So.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this could easily be an SF safe lane, especially when you pick it this early. Then again, like that's the interesting part about Hokori. So Hokori, compared to a lot of other teams here, aren't afraid to just throw out the carry pick very early on, because the way that they draft, it's not about like necessarily the carry having the best matchup. It's about them having a carry that can 5-man Dota, because this is an aggressive team. I mean, you saw it with their picks last game. They just want to fight.
I mentioned early on in Game 1, no matter how it ended, that the Pudge ban certainly has to be thought about as a respect ban. Now, obviously, they ended up losing, but I still think that it's at least got to be on the table. Granted, with this opening, maybe it's not as likely anyways in the first place, so I suppose I could be fine if BetBoom goes without the Pudge respect ban here, but just want to reiterate that.
Yeah, I think this time around, maybe not as threatened by it. Primal Beast and Silencer are decent heroes to kind of counter-initiate. That being said, for me, BetBoom, I don't think really any team has been seeing that great of a success with the Silencer. And I think one of the big issues is that a lot of the time we see these drafts where it comes out and it's more like it's a reset. The problem with that is that means you're drafting in a way that doesn't enable you to take the fights. It enables you to try and counter the fights, which is much more difficult to do. So seeing the Pangolier show up, like it's once again the type of hero that where Silencer can be this kind of counterattack to the follow-up of the Pango, whatever comes next. But the cool thing is it can enable kills onto heroes like Pango. Even the Shadow Fiend, actually. I think like in this game, it's not the worst pick, because especially against the SF, if he goes for the BKB Requiem bombs, you can just interrupt him, and you can turn a fight off the back of that.
Yeah. I love seeing kind of a note here with the, again, I love the player camps, but we've seen teams like this in the case of BetBoom, how they have all these, like a lot of the players have these papers in front of them, which I believe most of those include like basically all these drafts that the other team has maybe done over, recent history. And so you get an idea of their openings, in this case, the Shadow Fiend Pango. Then you start looking through all that list and be like, okay, well, what drafts have they picked up Shadow Fiend and Pango, and who do they pair with it? And it almost becomes like this this quiz as far as trying to figure out who they usually pair with, etc. So it's fascinating to me. I mean, it's an experience that not a lot of us get to, right? Especially at this level, in terms of just the preparation involved for these kind of events and really the mind games that are played, starting with the drafting phase.
Absolutely. Hey, do you think they just put nice little notes in there, like a little sticky note that says, "Hey, you're doing great," just when you're kind of scrolling
nothing
through.
Wrong with that.
Then there's just like, then there's just one you get to where it's like, if they pick Primal Beast, Tusk, and Bloodseeker, the little sticky note just says, "Yeah, just give up and go next." Right? You just got like they've got tailored ones. I mean, I like that idea. You got to have some fun with it. Maybe some meme pictures in there as well. But definitely these teams prepare. I mean, ever since TIA, I think is where people really took note of it. The giant stack of notes, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, this is a thing." We just I think it's always to a certain extent been a thing. We just really started to highlight it from there and on. Mm-hmm. Oh my!
I would love to see Shadow Demon, by the way, by Hokori, just to make that point real quickly. Is again, he's so good against Primal Beast. Yes, Silencer is a little annoying for the Shadow Demon, but in multiple axes, as we saw yesterday, KP, and we were pointing out, feels like such a perfect support hero to have against a strong hero in Primal Beast. So
the only problem...
Hey,
here we go. We get some Mirana. I just mentioned it earlier in the draft. It's going to come out now. Like, this does make sense to me. It's 320 games played in pre-TI pubs. For comparison, Shadow Fiend was the highest with about 720. So, you know, it is actually a fairly regular pick coming out in the pubs. So, glad to see it appear here. Glad to see it in the hands of an SA team, actually, because I think this is a hero that resonates with this region. Like, when I think Mirana, outside of like this cookie cutter idea, we've had metas like that. I think SA is one of the most consistent regions for it. This also could play into the Shadow Demon idea you had. My only thoughts about why I wouldn't want to see an SD here is there is a silencer. So if you try to aggressively set up for disruptions, there's going to be a global silence. And if you try to save someone in the middle of the fight, there's going to be a global silence.
yeah, and that's definitely fair. That was my one kind of reservation when I was saying that. That's like, there is a silencer, so I suppose I could see why Hokori would be not the biggest fan. But yeah, you're right. I mean, great pairing with the Mirana as well. So it's that idea of, again, okay, yes, silencer's annoying, but the pairing with Mirana, the save tool against Primal Beast in general. What do they do here? We'll see. Oh,
okay. So they go for a save. This is like, it's a bit different to the Shadow Demon. Because it can be a front line as well as a save, right? But it can still suffer the same way with the silencer logic. I think the difference here is, like, if you pick a Shadow Demon or an Oracle, these type of heroes, and a global silence comes out, not only can you not save when your cause, you can't save yourself and they can't save you, right? So typically, if there was a Shadow Demon pick here, BetBoom would begin a fight by initiating global silencing and taking out the Shadow Demon. They don't get to do that against an Abaddon, because if you try to kill him, his ult procs, and he still gets to save himself or other heroes afterwards.
Abaddon 0-2 in the 2 games he's been seen so far here in the group stages. So, again, minimal stats, but worth pointing out, especially for these heroes that don't get picked too often.
Maybe. Is it crazy? What if? Because America loves to do this. NA especially, I've seen SA do it. What if it's a +1 Abaddon?
I mean...
Your silence is fitting here.
I don't, like, it wouldn't be the worst thing ever, honestly. Like, especially, you know, you get, like, an Ags, and you just become this just raw tank in the front lines, but I don't necessarily think it would. No, I'm not leaning towards a position point of batting, no.
Now, I've been a commentator for enough years to know that when my co-caster says it's an interesting pick, they're just trying to avoid calling me dumb. It's fine, Breaky. Like, I mean, I'm not expecting it, but then again, SA always comes with unexpected strategies. And
I love innovation, and hey, I respect that as far as, you know, making some really out there calls and some predictions. There's nothing wrong with that, so.
You know what it is?
I appreciate it.
It's like, if I'm right, damn. But if I'm wrong, no one's really going to remember, right?
Like, it's haha, I knew that I was going to be wrong, so.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when people choose the true dark horse, the most unlikely team to win at TI, like, if I'm wrong, no one's really going to bat an eyelid. But if I am right, there you go. And it's not like I'm betting money on this, right? Like, that would be different. But if I'm just, like, randomly saying, yeah, this will happen, it's fine. Just get egg on my face. So we are going to see the Dahak Nature's Prophet banned out. That's a respectable choice here. BetBoom did go for the Quap. We haven't mentioned that yet. That this hero, I don't think is necessarily very popular at the moment. Kind of surprising that they picked it after the Abaddon, because I think that's just like a hero that can, you know, dispel the slows, so you're just all in the burst. But when you look at the other heroes of Hokori, it makes sense. Mirana, Pangolier, and Shadow Fiend are all low HP heroes.
Well, that and they have no catch. I mean, outside of an arrow from Mirana, like, Queen of Pain is fine. She is not worried at all. Whoa, that is
now hear me out. What if this? What if this is a Huskar 5? Okay, I'm going to stop now. This is definitely this could be +2 or +1. I think that they're likely to put this on the mid lane. I could see Shadow Fiend doing pretty well against a Primal Beast off lane, especially with an Abaddon to back him up.
But to the point I was just making, Huskar doesn't necessarily answer the lockdown issue that Hokori seems to be lacking. So I really feel like this Queen of Pain and even the Primal Beast, they're going to have a lot of rain this game to be pretty free as far as their mobility goes. And I love the Ursa pick to top that off. Yeah, I think it's all going to come down to this cheese Huskar pick, right? As it usually does, and they were confident with the Huskars. So and it's going to be analog playing at mid, as you were pointing out. I'm impressed with this player in general, but outside of all of that being said, I love BetBoom's lineup overall.
Yeah, it's kind of rough because like you're like, Hokori, they got some good ones because no lockdown. But then on the other side, like, BetBoom also got some good ones because no lockdown. Because like the thing is like BetBoom, they have this Primal Beast and it's great and all, but like you've got to deal with the Huskar, you've got to deal with the Shadow Fiend. I think lane is going to be very important here. If Huskar gets a great start, I'm not sure if they're going to have enough to burst through him. I think the Hax lane should be okay, but not great. Right, because he's going to be up against a Pango plus a Mirana. This is a lane that in the early levels maybe doesn't pressure as much, but they can scale towards it, which usually feels weird for an Ursa because Ursa's the type of hero that level 1, 2 doesn't feel like he can do much. Level 3, 4 is where he starts to really kick ass. So I think there's going to be a stalemate in that bot lane, followed up by kind of just a potential for a kill hero there, but overall both cores should get their farm. And where that's going to matter a lot is looking at this Ursa pick, there's a lot of disarm. You know, you got to consider the Huskar as well as the Pangolier that he's up against. That could really ruin his fights. I think Primal Beast is going to have his work cut off for him in this game for BetBoom, but I could definitely see either draft taking this, which I'm happy to say. You know, I hate it when we just get into games and we say, oh, that was a raw outdraft. Finally, we just get to say no one has the clear lead.
KP, I don't know if I'm as confident as you. I really don't. I love
Really?
this BetBoom lineup over Hokori. I think the Ursa final pick, and I understand the idea of the disarm possibility there. Sure, that's going to be annoying, but the lanes are setting up to be decent enough. And not only the Ursa final pick, but still, I go back to the Quap. They do not have an answer for Quap. They just don't.
True.
So the Queen of Pain is going to potentially have a game where at least that's what BetBoom needs. And make sure she gets out of the laning phase good. And then Laurel is setting up to have a hell of a time here in game number 2. So one more thing on Hokori's lineup as we're developing here in the initial part of the game. Again, stats only mean so much, yada yada, but 3 of these heroes have been seen 4 times to no times. Like Mirana was seen 4 times so far. It was Abaddon's only seen twice, as I mentioned before, and Huskar, this is the first pick of the group stages. So Hokori really just going completely different away from the meta in this game number 2.
I think that's part of what gives me like hope for it, is that if you look at BetBoom's lineup, you can kind of make more sense of it, right? And sometimes in the Anarchy, you can find success. And I think one thing that Hokori have going for them, and I swear I'm not huffing copium here, is that they love the chaos, right? Is when things are unpredictable and fighting is consistent, that they feel like they thrive. And one thing I'll give them credit for, you know, lack of stuns from Mirana setup aside, and lack of stuns in general aside, they have the ability to 5-man brawl from about 12 to 15 minutes onwards.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not saying there's 0 chance for Hokori at all, but it's they better get out of the laning phase at least, you know, even if not having the lead. Is how I suppose I'll put it from my perspective at least. But
that's a fair way of putting it, because like the Ursa, I mentioned the disarms, they're going to be annoying until he has a BKB. Once he has a BKB, he's free to just dominate the fights. I do love this switch up though. Hokori intentionally go for the Ursa versus SF matchup, which means the Pangolier should get a better start to the game. And more importantly, it means that the SF can't be ran down by the Primal Beast. We've seen what this guy can do against immobile heroes.
Yeah, I love the switch up, exactly, the innovation here for Hokori. And he got the races already coming out, so Ursa trying his best to run away from the Shadow Fiend, not take too much damage in the process, but mid lane, wow.
Yeah,
Queen of Pain.
That's what I was expecting. It's annoying because you walk in range for Shadow Strike, which means you're in range to be burnt. And it wasn't even the burn there, it was just the inner fire. So he's just baiting you in, pushing you back, and then using that extra attack speed to outright click you.
Oh, Queen of Pain.
Cool. I like thinking about it more. Like, it's kind of wacky to think that this is the correct way, but like Burning Spear's not being taken at all makes a lot of sense, right? Obviously, if the magic resistance on Berserker's Blood, great, but just prioritizing Inner Fire as well is an efficient trade. Like, it's 120 damage for 75 mana, and it disarms for almost 2 seconds.
Nice. Laurel gets the last hit there, so battle of the CS in that mid lane. As top lane, Abaddon's going to take some auto attacks from Soniqs. He'll be fine, though.
Arabot. Okay, Roger did get the Fairy Fire off just in time. That was a little bit tight, though. This is an annoying lane, actually, because Mirana's right-clicks usually can feel underwhelming, but you can see Fiorlicoeur, he started with the Wraith Band, so he hits pretty hard, and Vitaly can almost guarantee that there's always a Blightstone effect due to Swashbuckle.
I'm watching this Quap in the mid lane, living life on the edge, because level 3 on Huskar, he has Burning Spears and hit a couple right there, and Quap's still hanging around very close. I mean, has a Fairy Fire, so suppose reason to be confident there. I believe Bottle's going to be coming out as well. Yes, it is. But Laurel, yeah, clearly the positioning is favoring Analog in the Huskar.
And it's such an advanced and complicated hero to play, Reiki. I mean, if you were to itemize for a Huskar, what do you think you would need?
To play against it? Yeah.
No. As the Huskar, just braces.
For the
it's never changed.
I was like,
just
what are you
still
saying?
Spams braces.
The sarcasm there, I really wasn't sure. I'm just like, are you serious?
Sorry. It's classic Brit issues where the sarcasm just, it's all over it. But I mean, it's trivializing the build, but it's been the right build for a long time for good reason. It just makes you absurdly tanky, and it is a strength-based hero.
Meanwhile, Shadow Fiend almost killing Soniqs. Had the triple raise, but the TP out by Soniqs just in time. TP to the tower, in fact, to get away.
Do you feel good about that?
He does.
Yeah, it's like I'm alive, but now I'm here with next to no health, so I can't necessarily trade or interrupt what Gardic does anymore. So kind of an annoying situation where obviously you don't want to die because it's first blood. You don't want to be giving that over to an SF. At the same time, you're still now a liability. If you die now, it's even worse because you won't have TP back. And they're going to commit. No way Soniqs survives that. First blood goes the way of Gardic, and now Hack is going to be out of support for a good 30 to 40 seconds.
While that's happening, and I believe the camera was even on mid lane quite a bit too. Again, Analog, he really is showing that he's definitely going to be able to dominate this mid lane. And Laurel, I will say to his credit, he's not dying because it feels like several times. I mean, the way he's playing is so close to death that he definitely could be dying here. But hey, staying alive just enough, and he's trying his best to get some CS.
It's the type of lane he shouldn't ever die in, right? But it's the type of lane that you're also never going to get anything in. Speaking of dying, though, Gardic might experience that. The Fnatic Shield insta-pops, and Dahak wastes a lot of time chasing that kill. So while he does get it in the end, if you compare that to the gold that Lumiere was getting on the lane, it's not the worst of exchanges for Hokori.
Meanwhile, Roger rotating bottom lane. We're going to see some initiation soon, it feels like. Noticed. Doesn't have Onslaught, though, just yet. So, never mind.
It was a very underwhelming centaur. Didn't even get to use his stop.
Nope. Just fainted. Like, oh, nope, don't want to be engaged here.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when you're like, ah, and then you don't sneeze. It's like, everyone's waiting for it. It just doesn't come.
Oh, good micro right there. I don't think the camera caught that, but the ghost from Enchantress. The other core ran up to arrow in the face of the ghost, but he actually microed the ghost just to the right of the arrow to avoid it from being hit. So just some fun support play against one another.
Oh, wow. Roger might have been able to get that if he stuck on top of it, because the ghost, he could have followed up with an impetus, which is awkward for Mirana, because what's your escape tool? Elite. So you just do more damage to yourself with the impetus. Wrap around now. Roger's going to use the impetuses here instead. And Analog may got a little bit too gluttonous. Both supports will rotate to address the Huskar. Yep. Nice sidestep by Lal to dodge out the inner fire. And that is how you address a Huskar.
Yeah, I saw the TP coming in from Soniqs. A great positioning behind the tree as well with Nighttime on top of that. So yeah, he had no clue in the Huskar. Analog did. Had that gank was coming of sorts, and great again taking advantage of the Nighttime on top of that, especially from behind with the Enchantress as mentioned. So yeah, Queen of Pain, she's had a understandable struggle in the mid lane, but getting some help as needed. 6 minutes coming in, and supports from either side are now here. Try to go for that rune control. It's going to be Arcane bottom.
Yeah, that's rough. The only upside for BetBoom is they did get that ward down, so that didn't turn into an attempt on the Queen of Pain's life. But yeah, just overall a good maneuver coming out from Roger. What? Oh, come on. Wait, did he just saved him? He pushed him on the other side of the tree, so Notice can't actually finish off the kill.
All right, you take that. Uh-oh.
Mid though, it's happening again. Analog being chased down, the silencer's here, as is the Ench, and Soniqs will even take the kill in the end.
+2, baby, let's go. Noticed, meanwhile, still running away. Oh, turn around with the onslaught. Does he actually go for a kill? Oh my god, he is!
Oh my god, come on, no!
I thought for sure he was just going to keep running, but...
In a way, he did. All over the poor little kitty there. Nice sidestep of the arrow right at the end that would have gotten him in the end, but this hero is insane. Trample being maxed out is so painful. And speaking of pain, look what's happened in the mid lane. That arrow finally comes through, but it's too late. That's a 7-minute tower take for BetBoom. It does get denied by Hokori in the end, but it's still a tier 1 in the mid gone for a Huskar that's already been exposed.
for a Huskar that was winning, dominating in the mid lane. On top of that, speaking of Queen of Pain, she gets the bottom kill on Italy and will blink out before anything else happens. So, yeah, I mean, BetBoom, I know the overall net worth does suggest that Hokori is in the lead, and, well, you look at the breakdown, and a lot of that is the Shadow Fiend. But as a team right now, it feels like BetBoom is feeling pretty good.
Yeah, and Lol has he's had that playground experience, right? You get bullied by the bigger kid, and sometimes what happens is you realize you can be a bully too, you just have to choose a smaller kid to pick on. And Pango definitely the clear target for that. Just enables him to start shoving this lane in and maybe take the tier 1 early. But it's kind of weird to me how Hokori kind of just left Analog to die like that multiple times, though, especially when they had the tower up and had an Abaddon on their team. I think he may have been forced to TP back to lane and just wasn't available when he was needed each time. But it's just weird to see this type of draft where you do have a saving support for a Huskar, and it's not able to save the Huskar at all. Oh, God. Oh, God.
He did not know the Primal Beast was also there. He just hoped that he could TP out from the Enchantress, and little did he know Primal Beast was ready onslaught in, and Laurel, of course, coming in to actually make that kill happen. So, Queen of Pain, again, still doing some work, but she's basically even net worth now with the Huskar. I mean, that's just crazy to think about. But yeah, top lane, they're chasing out Lumi. This is a big kill for BetBoom. They make it happen. Abaddon can't do enough to save. He's on level 4 currently, and now he's in trouble.
Yeah, they got Earthshock on 5. Gardic has no TP, so out of juking, he doesn't get out, but it looks like he jukes perfectly. Lack of vision for BetBoom. Wow. Nicely maneuvered there, but the bigger detail already taken. SF goes down. So it begins with your Huskar crumbling, and now the ripple effect is going to be the suffering of the outer lanes.
Abaddon's dead.
Wait.
Probably. No, maybe not.
Gardic just sat there and he didn't go to pick up a bounty rune that Roger had dug up. He was that scared. That's how hesitant he is. They're able to find a big kill into Lal, though. Roger might be punished as well because Huskar has arrived for the party. Now that the Queen of Pain is gone, he'll take the easier picking.
Gets it. Yeah, that was interesting. I thought for sure, I mean, they could have got the easy kill on Abaddon, but then they saw Shadow Fiend, them being Queen of Pain and Enchantress, so they got a little distracted there, I suppose, as bottom lane pulverized of Italy, but now Primal Beast in trouble as the arrow connects, Rolling Thunder out, and notice he's got to run. He's in the uproar.
Run fast. Oh, Vitaly, he looks the wrong way. Tries to make up with the Tumble Toy a little bit too late, so Noticed will be able to get out unnoticed in the situation. Mid lane, though, Analog is in trouble. He wishes he had that tier 1 tower because that was the difference between life and death.
Back to the bottom. Primal Beast back in, and then Leap 4 gets the kill, making use of the Tumbler's Toy. And that's the second time we've seen that where he's low on life, he sees Barada, is like, all right, let's fight. And this time he actually gets the kill.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think Primal Beast looks like a dog, but he seems to have the same fascination they have with cats. It just seems to be working out for him, though, because someone I was going to say is I think the Mirana pick was about this Primal Beast. It was about countering him out, but nothing is carrying this Primal Beast. No. So pick off another one. Is anything going the way of Hokori right now? Because outside of Lumiere's farm, there's nothing good to speak of here.
Yeah, Shadow Fiend he is very farmed. He's got the Falcon Blade. He's going to be going for that Mask of Madness, and he's going to be really that traditional carry now. They're going to have to run almost that 4-1 strategy, just allow him to be that right-click threat throughout the game. But again, as I was saying from the beginning, this is a lineup that needed to have a good game coming out of the laning phase, and early on that was somewhat the case, but with the Huskar back-to-back deaths especially, now 4 by the way, he's 0-4-1. He is very minimal threat at this point, it feels like, and BetBoom certainly seems like that they're feeling much better about the situation. But Hokori is going to group up and push the top tower.
Definitely you want to group up here. Global comes out, SF can't react at all. Stacked on top of him is the Primal Beast. He'll even commit the ultimate to ensure the kill. A nice bodyguard against the arrow. Rolling Thunder turnaround sent by Vitaly, but no one's here to follow up. So you just lost your core, and you committed Rolling Thunder to run away.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, Bob.
Yeah, not ideal.
Oh my. Man, BetBoom are feeling themselves today. This is getting a bit absurd.
Uh-oh. Huskar. Oh no, that would be awkward.
the two supports are diving in tier 2. We're 12 minutes into the game.
They're diving a Huskar tier 2. That should not be happening. Now, to be fair, it is going to backfire. Roger going to die for this. So, something about that just feels really off. And it was.
Yeah, there are rules you should not break. That was one of them. That was kind of absurd. However, Sonic wave from Lal. Like a predator in the jungle, he was waiting. And they even find a kill on Vitaly in the mid lane as well. Good lord.
By they, it was, noticed. Solo kill from the Primal Beast. And apparently not even a Pulverize needed. Holy crap.
No, he's saving that for the kitty. Oh my god, if he actually sees Fury, he's insta-dead.
Good scan, though. Or he scanned, actually, but he's going to turn around.
Yeah, I think he realizes that's a bridge too far. Like, this ancient area is still somewhat dangerous to go into. Because one of the big issues for Primal Beast, is trying to say earlier, is that the Mirana, like, her use of this game is to wait for Primal Beast to pulverize and then arrow. It is an underwhelming usage, though, I'll say that. Like, usually you want some reliable combo through the game. The problem with that being your goal in this game is this Primal Beast is popping off on the farm. He's going to get BKB first, at which stage I don't actually feel like the Mirana does anything in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Mirana's one thing. Again, I continue to look at this Huskar and trying to figure out where Analog is going to fit now in this game, especially with the start that he's had. And that's going to be the Hawk picking up the Roshan. That's what Ursa for you. I mean, both teams had potential to go for an earlier Roshan, and BetBoom clearly with the positioning to do so. And they got an Aegis with the Diffusal Blade, and he's ready to fight now. Yeah,
he went Diffu, even though he's up against the Batten as well. This is a bit greedy, though. Looks like the Primal Beast is here, ready to play. And he's going to intercept, goes in deep. Disarm's going to come out, push him away with a Fear follow-up. It looks like they're going to be able to counterattack here. Notice is brought down. Follow-up killing the Enchantress. Mirana is killed in return, but BetBoom looking worse for wear here.
Well, that was, again, props to Hokori in terms of fighting and sitting their ground, but BetBoom got way overconfident. Especially the Hawk jumping in when he did. He was by himself at the time. It took a little bit for Enchantress to make her way up there, and then Primal Beast was TPing in. He just went in too early. It's simple as that. He realized that. He tried to turn around with the Enrage, and then at that point, Primal Beast felt like he had to kind of panic initiate because his Ursa was in there, taking some good damage, and then we saw the end result. So yeah, it was just a very uncoordinated BetBoom initiation that resulted in a victory for Hokori, and they will gladly take that, though, and that's something that they certainly need to start climbing back in this game themselves.
Definitely. I think we should just quickly like rehash on that Diffusal pickup from Ursa, because he's picking a Diffusal against a Dispel hero. And that's the worrying detail to me, is like these heroes have ways of getting it off, even the Huskar himself with the life break. So there are ways of addressing that threat. It's intriguing to me that the Hack chose this build, but I think it leans into BetBoom and the whole idea of fighting fast and always, which Hokori are happy to do. They force the Global Silence out. They will get a kill on the Silence himself. Lal, oh look at that. The Mirana arrow not so effective when you don't have a setup. Instead, Lal would be the one walking away with a kill on the Pussycat.
Yeah, they cannot, and exactly, what do they have to actually lock down this Queen of Pain other than the arrow? It's just nothing is the answer. And of course, they can get items to help with that eventually later on. But I mean, the fact that Queen of Pain was basically 1v5 down there in the bottom jungle, gets a kill and gets out, is just evident enough.
With Global Silence being used.
With Global Silence. Yeah, well, to be fair, his teammate there, but the point is, it's he's slippery.
Yeah, but that's my point. It's like Global Silence is all they need, because then he gets to do anything.
Oh, sure.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Like at that point, like there's no point where he's too deep because of that lack of lockdown you mentioned, and I don't know who's going to bring that lockdown. Like Pangolier kind of with the Blink Dagger build, but it's not instantaneous. It's not an instant reaction, and you're not going to be able to bash her in a rush, not as a pos-free Pango in this game. So, like, overall, Yules is the go point, and Hokori is walking towards it. But, I don't know. I feel like at that point, Queen of Pain could be halfway towards a BKB.
Yeah, and Yules isn't even really, I mean, yes, it's a setup for the Mirana era. I guess that's the one thing that certainly can be useful from it, and yes, that's what Mirana's doing. So, yeah, she's kind of creating her own setup right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely not a guaranteed is what I was getting at, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to highlight, though, is like that you just have this issue where by the time you get the solutions to your problems, new problems arise, right? Because this isn't a core Mirana, and even if it was, you wouldn't necessarily want to rush at Yules. So Lal's going to dictate this point in the game. I mean, looking at his stats, you wouldn't think this guy was being tripled up on the lane in terms of CS. This is absurd.
That's right, yeah. The second net worth, that's pretty crazy. And of course, Shadow Fiend continues to lead the way. Understandably, with his farm, he's going to be finishing a Hurricane Pike soon to go with that Masking Madness and Falcon Blade. So very good item there. Ursa still has a minute 20 on that Aegis, and being delivered a Blink. So he's going to have a Blink now, too. Oh, and they catch
Got it. I think he's still dead.
Yeah.
Kind of awkward when borrowed time doesn't last as long as trample, huh?
+2, let's go.
And Vitaly, oh man, the diffusal actually worked. Pango had already used the swashbuckle, I think, so he just gets caught out. Lumia will at least get out courtesy of the Moonlight Shadow, but they're not going to stop. In fact, Hokori looking to go, and that might be a mistake. The Suns comes out, mistakes have been made. Lumia baited underneath a sentry, and they pick up the premium kill.
Yeah, and they do not have a stopper for Huskar. But yeah, Dahak just got his Blink, by the way. That's what I was saying, and he used it on Pango immediately, and then right away runs to the bottom lane, and they get the kill on the Shadow Fiend with his assistance, too. So, yeah, BetBoom, this is their power spike now. With that Blink on Dahak, Primal Beast has his BKB now. Queen of Pain, she had that Witchblade for a little bit. And,
yeah, she got the Ag Shard. That's what enabled the kill. Yeah, the Ag Shard is what screwed this SF over, because otherwise Requiem still comes out and the Ursa's just running away. So
yeah,
really cool pickup. One that's easy to forget about when you don't see Queen of Pain as frequently at the moment.
Yeah, that silence certainly helping to get that kill. So the Aegis has worn off, but safe to say that BetBoom made great use of it, because again, in this game where both teams have potential to go for earlier on Roshans, the fact that you got it for your team, even if it wasn't like a pushing with it necessarily, it's still very worth that you got it. So top tower as well.
And Lal will be going to that BKB next, and I mentioned it already, but it's coming. The moment where this Queen of Pain is completely unleashed, and her damage output, because that Witchblade you mentioned before was already absurdly high in these prolonged fights. So Hokori need to get some serious work done before that point, and that's why they're going to smoke up to move out here.
Can't overlook Silencer as well. I don't want to do too much, but I mean, Villa just scored on him, and plus 12 int. I mean, he's not too shabby right now.
Yeah, I mean, the int's like, it's cute, it's annoying for the enemy team, but definitely the Veil, you're right. Like that's actually a really big detail. The difference between the POS 5s is notable here. Abaddon just is a save, of course. He'll always have that in his toolkit. But so far, I don't think we've once seen that save matter, right? It hasn't necessarily turned the tide because of the Abaddon specifically.
Precious bounty.
I never will against this guy. Good lord.
Love to see the Primal Beast just walking uphill, gonna kill the courier, and he wants something more though. He's hungry. Ursa's hungry too. Jumps in the back, lands a global sun. That's Huskar. Gonna be the focus target. They gotta pulverize. There it goes. 1, 2. Never mind. It's gonna be stopped. So he's fine. And now the return. Borrowed time popped on Abaddon. He just runs away with the onslaught. For the time being, Queen of Pain though, she's fine. She's got a haste and gonna run away. Roger, a difficult kill thanks to him being Enchantress. He's dead though.
Yeah, so all that, in the end, you get the edge. There's a lot committed on both sides, though, right? They had to use the global, they used the BKB with the pulverize. That was their big Vavavoom moment that was an III. Someone to note, you just saw the other impact that the supports have on the Primal Beast. Like, they are both designed to counter him out. One was to arrow him, the other one was to dispel the pulverize. It sounds cool in theory, but what you start to realize is that a lot of Hokori's draft has gone to addressing just the Primal Beast. And I'd argue that it's not even doing that great of a job of stopping him.
Easy shot.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously some of the pulverize is big and helps to save Huskar there, but, you know, I see your point. The fact that he could just go in like that, do his thing, create all that chaos, and then say, all right, I'm done. I'm going to onslaught away.
Yeah, you force out everything onto the Primal Beast, and this is the absurdity of this hero, is like there isn't really many heroes in the game that can initiate from 2,000 range and live long enough they could probably just duck out in 16 seconds later, right? It's an incredibly potent hero for that. And the cool thing about it in this game is, like, if Queen of Pain was ever going to be threatened, it was that element that, oh, they could try to focus me. The problem is with this Primal Beast pick, he draws all the attention on him, and in the meantime, Dahak with his Diffusal build and this squishy Queen of Pain just get to burst heroes on the backside.
Chance, though, for Hokori. They're smoked up. Shadow Fiend looking for a kill. Dahak, the arrow, no, it just whiffs, unfortunately. The knockback slightly allows him to stay alive. He's going to go for the TP play. That ain't working, though. The Yules into the Requiem, and that's a blow up onto Ursa, so Dahak down. They got the kill they were looking for.
Yeah, definitely an ambitious TP attempt, but he was like, hey, they missed the arrow, maybe they'll miss everything else as well. I mean, that has to be a demoralizing moment for Theo. I'm sure he's just like taking his stride, and arrow follow-up is once again going to be a whiff, not able to find it. Nice burst from La will get a counter kill onto Vitaly. Just shows you that even when you address one arm of BetBoom, the other arms are so damn strong. It's like they're flexing at a workout show. I mean, look at Lal. He's bigger than the Ursa now.
Yeah. Well, again, it's like a broken record, right? But they do not have answers for this Quinnipiac, so I'm really not surprised by this. That Laurel is starting to very much so come online. And how about this item choice, by the way? The Heaven's Halberd onto Quinnipiac. That is not your typical item pickup, but
So
way
good.
to be up against that Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, it's Shadow Fiend and Huskar, yeah. And then on top of that, it's two physical right-clicking heroes that you now have evasion against. This game is so annoying for them. Like, the Queen of Pain is going to remain unanswered. They have at least got Yules on Theo now, but you're never going to get, like, a max range arrow now, right? You're going to get, like, maybe 2 seconds. So then you've got a question mark. Can you kill this 2.2k HP hero in 2 seconds that also has 20% evasion? Actually,
Unlikely.
less than 2 seconds, right? Because you get 16% static resistance as well. So it sounds doom and gloom, but my point is, like, for Hokori to get back in this game, like, it's not as much about addressing the co-op. They need to find individual kills elsewhere, which is why that Ursa pick was a really good one.
Yeah. And speaking of that, though, I know you're talking about with the BKB, the pre-BKB, yes, but for Ursa, now he almost has it, though. And about another, what, 250 gold. So he's going to farm that up pretty quickly and try to get that delivered out before another fight does break out down here. 30 seconds remaining on the Roshan, by the way. Also worth pointing out, it's been a fairly long Roshan respawn. Noticed is going to onslaught in onto a Batten, but quickly decides better.
Oh, he's going for the axe as well. Just more CC for them. More CC for them. Still less CC for Hokori. Looking at their build choices, trying to think what the Pango can build to solve a lot of their problems. Like, the Blink, of course, offers a lot. He hasn't gone for the Ag Shard yet, so he can't insta-turn around and perma-stun up. Looks like he's just going to go for the Wraith Pact, which isn't the worst idea, actually. If Queen of Pain isn't going BKB, like, you know, she's going to suffer a lot from this. So I think just removing that extra piece of burst might be enough for Hokori to survive the upcoming fights.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Smoked up. They're going to Moonlight Shadows as well.
They hunt. We're fine, though. That's a tough one to open up onto. The Suns comes out, and oh my god, this hero! The damage from the Pulverize onto the entire team now sets up for a cleanup from the Queen of Pain. Hasted away with the fear on her, though. So we'll give a soft reset, but now that she jumps in, now the follow-up's going to be there. They have to commit onto her. Damage being done once again by Notice. The follow-up kills going each way here, as it looks like at the end, Lumiere is able to stand his ground and fight. And Hokori miraculously come out ahead.
I mean, the biggest factor, as I'm sure we'll even see a replay eventually here too, but Dahak just died off the bat. He got locked down by Pango, and the Pango Rolling Thunder was a little funky right there. Got caught on this cliff on the high ground, but it was actually to his advantage fully, and perhaps on purpose. But the point is, it kept knocking up Dahak. He just literally could not cast an ability or do anything, and he just went from 100 to 0. As, yeah, we'll see in the replay. You look at the initiation. Pango just locks him down. Bumped once, twice. The beat down from Shadowfiend. There's a third time, and he's just dead. So without Dahak, I mean, yes, Queen of Pain is a very big deal. They're having trouble stopping her, and we've seen throughout the fight, you know, the damage she's able to do, but you can't just sacrifice your position one off the bat and expect to be successful in that fight. But certainly the credit to Hokori when it came to that initiation right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it speaks to their ability to bounce back in what looks like very difficult fights. When even on that opening, even with how good the Pulverize was, like you said, they just catch the bend in the cliff, they shut him out, and they show you that, you know, although they've had a rough start, especially that Huskar, they're not in this game at all. They don't have an answer necessarily for the Primal Beast still, but everything around them, they can find answers for. And that Primal Beast initiating, once again, the Gardic, but learning that with some scalability, this Abaddon isn't a solo kill for him anymore.
BetBoom meeting up in the jungle, so yes, that last fight didn't necessarily go their way, but again, if Ursa, ideally that won't happen again to him. So, still feeling confident that they can make a fight happen, even with the Shadow Fiend now having the Aegis, and I believe he did pick up the Shard as well from the Roshan. So thus the Necromastery upgrade there, pretty big for him. Also level 18. Again, level 20 is that really big power spike as well, the +3 damage per soul. So we'll keep an eye on that for Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, lol. You see, you can confidently step up because of that Heaven's Halberd build. If it wasn't for that, you wouldn't even dream of going anywhere close. And yeah, no, notice this. Someone on the team said, no, bad promo beast. Don't do it.
Keep them tamed.
Yeah, it's that temptation, right? It's like, man, I'm a promo beast. I can beat anything in the world. It's like, yeah, but the rest of us can't. there's a very big issue with us surviving in these fights. We don't worry about you.
No, and they understand that the positioning is pretty appropriate there from Hokori in terms of protecting that Shadow Fiend for any engagement. And I don't think they have enough for the immediate blow up, especially with the Abaddon certainly going to be there for at his ready to protect him. But the other core is going to get picked off. That was up at the top lane. They did find him. So by they, I mean Laurel.
Yep, isn't it always? It just feels like a lot of what BetBoom have been able to do is more or less lull. Obviously, of course, Notice has had some pop-off moments, but lull is still the God King for them. The problem I see is like the God King has been overtaken by the God Emperor, right? This Shadow Fiend, just look at his net worth. He's a mile and a half ahead of everyone else in this game.
Yeah, and I love how this hero is developed into even like a safe lane as well potential. So, like I said, I was excited to see initially Analog play it, but Lumi doing just fine on the hero from the safe lane role too.
Yeah, Roger's got some big dreams here as well. So they saw the butterfly and they need an answer, and apparently the Phosphor Enchantress is the one to do it. She's going towards an MKB. Go dream big.
Ursa had one queued up earlier, but he's going to go the Nullifier route instead.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think you do need a Nullifier in this game. Just more raw damage as well. It's like not as much of like a be-all end-all for you because Overpower's just so many attacks anyway. It would be nice to always guarantee the strikes though.
Okay, yeah, the Shadow Fiend though is massive, 20,000 plus net worth now, and they're just going to go right on the uphill. A minute and a half on the Aegis. Here's that jump though. Did he go too far? The Moonlight Shadows, what's the save like? The shield and everything, the staff pushing away to Hawk, trying to chase down this Rolling Thunder now. Knocking people up in the air. Primal Beast, he gets away. We see the Axe effect coming out from the Uproar. And the fortification.
Like an Axe Labyrinth all over again.
Yep.
Definitely an annoying ability, but yeah, good hold. Let's go push them back, but maybe not for very long. They didn't commit anything big, and anything, Hokori are the ones who committed more or less everything they had. Only a minute left in the Aegis as well, so SF will try to just body the front line, but without a creep wave, and also the fact that BetBoom basically have all their tools in their arsenal still, it's going to be difficult to do a full lane here.
They get the tower.
Say as the Ursa is nowhere near base to defend.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, this looks pretty easy, KP. He's going to get the range racks. And now they're going for the melee racks. Yeah, they're just not confident. I guess all the wrapping around, that's what they're doing. They're trying to get the back lines.
Yeah, they're wrapping super wide, though. They just sacrificed the whole lane, so they need to make sure this pays off. They're waiting for the Aegis to time out, but it's still 30 seconds out, and with how quick SF just took the lane, by the time that you reveal yourself on the backside, they could take a fight, and you could still be stuck waiting for Aegis.
Oh, this is, yeah, I can understand that timing, trying, but 10 seconds now remaining. Oh, this is going to be so close. Do they get the jump that they're looking for? Here we go. The onslaught turns his attention. He's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, but you're not out here quick enough. They're going to hunt for targets. One of them chased after Notice, but they found a bigger target. They notice Ursa in the river. Yules comes out, arrow follow-up. No chance to use the Enrage. He's just insta-gone for 50 seconds. And BetBoom, an ambitious wraparound, but too much hesitation there. No opportunity to strike in.
To me, I mean, did they just mistime it? Is that is that what we're thinking there, or did they really? Because there was no way they were going to be able to wait out 30 more seconds at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It just feels like a misinformed play. And the crazy part is you can't say maybe they were wrong about the timing. Like these teams know the timing. Global Star's going to come out though. Going to be forced to fight as charging comes through. Noticed. Aster BKB. Analog stand his ground. The time being, Lumiere able to push him back and run him down. The beast has been slain. Without him, BetBoom have not got a leg to stand on in these fights.
I don't understand trying to fight without your Ursa. That's what, like the third even? At least the second fight in a row goes back to the Pango lockdown and Ursa, that one previous fight. That they basically, Ursa's literally not been a hero in this game. It's been 5 versus 4. As there's another, speaking of non-hero, Silencer just shredded. That right there felt like just desperation from BetBoom when it just wasn't that necessarily needed. But because of that, now this game is looking 8,000 net worth lead, and they get the middle. They're going top. There's Ursa now up. The buyback from Silencer. Can they actually hold this? It's going to be grim, though. The Hawk jumps in, immediately deals a Requiem. Not even going to use it. Just walks uphill, starts auto-attacking. The Enrage helping get away. Enchantress being knocked up. Vitaly is just doing his thing in the backlines with that Rolling Thunder, but meanwhile, Shadow Fiend going for tower kills. He gets the tower, splits up, Wraith Pact is down, and I think they're going to reset now.
Yeah, the problem with BetBoom, I think you hit it on the head there. Like they're going when they didn't need to. They're panicking. They're trying to buy time to get the cores back up in some funky ways, and it ends up just compounding the issue, snowballing it essentially. You know, they start to look like headless chickens. The problem with that is Hokori, they love some KFC, and these guys right now look finger looking good. So you've just got to resist that temptation to try and fix all the mistakes. Otherwise, they lead to more like this. They rush out. Global Silence going to be used to hack. Dodged out, though. BKB forced by him, but Analog able to walk it off. And on the side, Noticed trying to address the Shadow Fiend threat, but unable to do so. This demon cannot be slain. Instead, he will do the slaying. Dahak controlled up. The rest of the team unable to assist, and this looks like the beginning of the end. GG will get called. BetBoom get one win to start the day off, but they'll be denied their second.
Well, what do we say, Hokori? They're the masters of splitting the series, and, well, they do it again here against BetBoom. So they're now 4-4 overall. Like, hey, if they keep that trend up throughout the whole group stages, as I said earlier, they would be very satisfied, in my opinion, if they're able to do that. And so far, looking pretty good from that perspective. But, yeah, I mean, I think I'll put it this